My favorite quests in The Witcher 3 are usually grim, devastating, and emotional. But one of the strengths of the game is how it can provide us with genuine warmth, while so much horror is going on around Geralt. And genuine warmth is the reason I have to do a quest analysis on The Volunteer, a side quest Geralt most likely grabbed off the Oxenford notice board during the quest Family Matters. The notice warns people to avoid a singing troll, one whom Geralt decides not to avoid but to go and listen to. Turns out that this troll believes he's part of the Redanian army because some soldiers asked it to guard boats that they stole from the local peasants. Unfortunately, the two groups of human got into a kerfuffle, which led to them all being dead. And the troll is not only a brilliant singer, but also very big on not wasting food. So he ate all the dead bodies. Geralt must then decide whether he kills the troll for hoarding all of that food, or if he will play nice, which leads to a very enjoyable bit of interaction between Geralt and the troll. So it's clear that this quest is on the lighter side. But the key is, with all of these lighter quests in The Witcher 3, is that they never lose touch with the atmosphere and the themes of the overall game. Like, take this singing for example. It's a complete shock to the system when you walk up and Geralt hears this, because it is inherently silly. But if you listen carefully and are blessed with actually being able to understand troll speak, you quickly realize that this thing is eating people and might need to be put down. So the goofiness is immediately offset with the grim reality of the situation. Thankfully, when the troll elaborates, it becomes clear that he's not some mindless killing machine, he's just this absent-minded goofball.
Me guard boats, let's say, but no wood for to make a fence. They're boats. So me fence make a boats. Boats guard boats.
So again, really good balance. Bunch of soldiers stole some boats. They asked the troll to guard the boats. The troll wants to do a good job and he's like, I need a fence to guard these boats. So he builds a fence out of the boats. That's pretty comical. Of course, it's offset then when the peasants whom the soldiers stole the boats from return, confront the soldiers, and then they kill each other. And then what's a resourceful troll to do with all those bodies?
Should no waste. Peasant has good food. Soldier man friends. Not so good big stew. Always good.
That's grotesque, but it's also obvious that this troll is not homicidal. It's more like filled with childlike wonder when it's explaining itself. But this being The Witcher 3, there's obviously a choice where this tale does not end on a whimsical note.
A man-eating troll this near a city. Pretty dangerous.
This ending might feel overly grim for such a lighthearted quest, but Geralt does make a lot of sense here. He might be looking at this a bit more black and white than I'd prefer, but that same childlike innocence that the troll displays with this whole situation, it could end really poorly if some innocent kid accidentally ran into this troll. And I think this bit of singing illustrates my point. He's so gung-ho that the Redanians asked him for one favor that he's written a song that is basically anti-Nilfgaardian propaganda. So again, hilarious song, but it's not hard to imagine a troll this impressionable being convinced to harm innocents, and that makes Geralt's decision to kill it justifiable. So just like before, we have the darkness to balance out the humor. And to reinforce that point, discerning players need only look at the notice that brought Geralt to this quest. It was posted by the Redanians, who think the troll is dangerous and that its pro-Redanian rhetoric is actually a Nilfgaardian diversionary tactic. Meanwhile, this impressionable troll is like a child who feels wanted for the first time. He's so proud to represent the Redanian army, to the point that he's given himself a name.
Private Snake, report on order.
Now imagine how devastating this would be for this thing that clearly has emotions should the Redanians end up hunting it down. So despite all of the laughs, the underlying narrative actually makes me a bit emotional. Maybe it's because I have a toddler and I see a lot of her in this thing, but that's why comedy works for me in The Witcher 3. It's always laced with some kind of tragedy. But I think most players wouldn't experience the tragedy too much because the far more interesting choice is to not kill the troll, because otherwise you miss so much. Like you would miss the troll bossing Geralt around once it realizes he's not a soldier.
Tra-la-la-la. makes man soldier man. Trollo, chargy man, say, bring paint, and man brings paint.
And even beyond the hilarity of the troll demanding Geralt to get him some paint, I absolutely adore how patient and compassionate Geralt is when going down this decision chain. And when I say patient, I mean patient. You have to do a little fetch quest in here where you head back to Oxenford and buy some paint, and that part's not too bad, but as you can see, I really struggled for quite a bit to find the right vendor. But eventually I got that paint for the troll, and he wants to use it to slather the Redanian army insignia on his boat protection agency. And what follows is probably my favorite inconsequential decision you get to make in the entire Witcher 3. Who paints the insignia? Because if you have Geralt do it, it's comically childish.
Beautiful. Pretty Birdo.
Think so? As long as you're happy with it.
Everything about this is joyous. Like, the troll is like the most supportive art teacher ever. And Geralt's tone of voice just sounds like a guy who has let his guard down and has found a little bit of light in the darkness of this world. And of course, knowing how Geralt's painting turned out, it's not surprising that the troll's painting is as well done as the dialogue that accompanies it.
Good no, Birdo, ugly.
No, actually, it's not bad. Not bad at all.
Man's kind, but Birdo, ugly. Trollololo see, ugly.
That was less joyous, and yet it exemplifies why the Volunteer is such a great quest. If it had just been a joke a minute, I would have chuckled a few times, and then I would have forgotten about the quest completely. But it has so much more emotion to it than just laughs. By giving this troll so many human traits, like joy, pride, and self-doubt, I think it tells us so much more about the world of The Witcher 3. The monsters are often thought of as purely evil beings to be put down, to not empathize with, and to just consider as the other. And this troll, like so many of The Witcher 3's monsters, shows that that's absolutely not the case. And in that way, I feel like the Volunteer does a good job of paralleling how humans behave towards each other in the real world. And by filling this tiny comic relief quest with real emotion and meaning, CDPR ensures that it's a quest that doesn't just get lost in the shuffle. So thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I hope we all learn from the troll in this quest that humans should all be more empathetic towards each other. So I hope the comments are on the kind side.
Birdo, ugly.
Completely unnecessary to call me ugly and a birdo.